Okay, fine. So, Rosario, do I ask for approval of the agenda? Well, I guess I'll ask
Yes,
for approval of the agenda.
yes.
Do we need to vote on that?
Raise hands. Approve.
Yeah, I approve.
Okay.
Okay, great. Well, the first item is the treasurer's report. Now, we're in a handover phase between myself and Marzuki. I've done the last June report. The July report isn't actually available to us yet because for some reason W1M report for July is not published and not on their site yet. And it could be because it's European holiday season. It could also be because they've seemed to have transferred to a slightly different um, system. So
Mm.
Glenn is looking into that for us. I was able to log in, um, and so I can give you sort of the rough the value, the total value of the W1 portfolio. But maybe Mazuki, I don't know whether you want to talk through the June report I sent or whether you'd like me to, or we do a tag team, whichever way.
I think it's best at this time if you do it. It's more efficient.
And then from future you can do it your way.
Yes.
Okay. Amanda, can I share my screen or
Yeah.
let me just see if I can. Actually, it's not telling me I can. I think I need to send you a request.
There you go. Now you can share screen.
Okay.
By the way, we are now on YouTube.
Oh, great. Okay, so hi to anyone who's joined us on YouTube and welcome. Thank you. Okay, can anyone see that?
Yes, now we can see.
Yes.
Now you can see. I just can't see you. Let me see if I can. Okay. So great, you can see this. So this, I think this was sent around a week or so ago.
Marcus, can you increase a little bit
the size.
yeah, increase the document.
The size a bit like this.
Yeah, at least. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Better? Okay. Okay. So I think you should all have this in your emails. So I won't
Yes.
go through every line. As at the end of June, the W1M portfolio was just under $7.5 million. And as of last night, when I checked, it was just under 7 point. Now I'm forgetting whether it was 7.7 or 7.8. So apologies for that. I think it was 7.7. So it's increased a little since end of June. These are the values of the other funds. The total, excluding the money held for Subud Canberra, was about 8.4 million. In terms of the change in the balance of the W1M portfolio, there was a month-on-month change. The markets are reasonably volatile at the moment. So maybe reading, particularly with all the investment going on in AI in the share market. But the year-to-date change, this is the total portfolio, is very healthy. As everyone recalls, this is not just the investment performance. This is also because we've had additional inputs into the donations, etc., into the portfolio. In terms of investment performance, this is the unit value. This represents unit investment performance, and there's a 5% year-to-date change increase. And this gives kind of that graphically in terms of the unit value and the investment performance of the portfolio. We'll have some discussions on the Education Support Fund later today. This is the current balance of the Education Support Fund. So there's further increase in that in terms of its investment performance, healthy month-on-month change, and a healthy year-to-date change also. Just because we're going to be talking about this later, you'll notice, because I think we'll bring up the budget. The budget originally balance of this fund was just under 400,000. As well as its investment performance, there was an additional input of 150,000 by Lucian and his family, I think in May. So that's why this balance now is quite considerably more than it was originally for the 2026 budget. Subud Mexico Fund continues to be, growing, but from a very small base and very slowly. But it's now sitting at just over $900. Just for anyone online, that's a fund that is being used by Subud Mexico to raise money for a Subud house. Is still trading at reasonable values, just over 1.5 UK pence, which translates into $113,000 for our allocation of shares. That is finally able to be sold. RBC have given us the go-ahead, or at least they've given us confirmation that that we are the rightful owners and they will sell our shares, and so that is underway. I haven't heard any update from Helena as to how much has been sold yet, but we have given instructions to sell all of this at 1.5 pence or above. And looking at the market, there does seem to be a market at that rate. So hopefully that will go through. This is just the usual summary that we repeat every month of our 10-year forecast and our spending policy. So this is essentially all our spending policy, and our budget is done on a 10-year basis because, of course, markets fluctuate up and down, returns go up and down, but we don't spend necessarily on the fluctuations. We spend with the long term in mind. So we are forecasting a long-term return of 6.5%. That's down very slightly from a couple of years ago because all the major institutions are forecasting that growth over the next coming period won't be necessarily as high as it has been over the previous period. And we're assuming that there will be inflation of 2.5% and then a net return on. There's a brokerage fee of 0.5% on the investment, so that leaves 3.5% able to be spent or to be retained. And our current policy is that we will spend all of that because we are above our inflation-adjusted return over the last 10 years. So of that 3.5%, roughly 1% goes to administration. As our fund grows, hopefully it'll become less than that. And then 2.5% can be used for grants. And that's currently the way we've budgeted for 2026. And finally, just a reminder also, this is something that just sits there in the background, but this is our policy around donations or bequests that aren't particularly earmarked. If they're coming into without any earmark or specific fund allocation, then this is the allocation we provide across the general fund. So they will be going into the general fund, but an allocation of them will go into, a portion of them will go into the capital preserved fund, which is part of the general fund, but is the part that we treat as an endowment and preserve the capital on. So we, in a sense, voluntarily limit ourselves to any distributions once it's in that capital preserved fund. So that summary of June, I went into a bit more detail than I usually do, just because it's the first time, and Mazuki is with us as the first time as treasurer as well. I will say, normally March, June, September, December, the quarterly reports, we try and include the current balance of the individual endowment funds, which Alwyn prepares for us, and also the cash flow that Alwyn prepares for us. Alwyn is preparing those for us, but because of the Murinsari trips and is away on leave a bit, so he's just I think we'll get those in the coming week or two, and I'll send them out when we do. Or Mazuki will probably send them out when we get them. Yeah. That's, I think, all from me. Any questions or any comments, particularly Mazuki, if you want to add anything? Or
No, I just let the whole team know that we have had a couple meetings and I'm well aware of the details. I understand them and I hope to be able to get on fully for the next meeting.
and I'm very confident from those meetings that you will do a fantastic job. So thank you, Mazuki.
Thank you. Yes.
Now I just have to work out how to stop sharing because I can't see that on my on my screen. I've now got a very small screen with everyone's faces on it.
Maybe Amanda can help, but we can go on in the meantime.
So while I'm figuring that out, let's see what's next on the agenda.
Marcus,
Hmm. Yes, sir.
maybe also, I don't know, part of this or later on, who is in the account for W1M now that Elena is not here? You remember we have certain, yeah, who is assigned to contact them and who, and at one point we decided that all of us could go there and see the values, but nothing else. And I wonder if that had been reviewed with them.
I think that policy is still going to be the same, Rosario. I think we should all be able to go in and see the value anytime that we can.
Okay.
I think we've requested he has access.
Yes.
Yeah.
But remember that the people who could do or ask for transfer of funds were Elena, I think maybe you, Hamid, and I, something like that.
Yeah. So I think we'll get to that.
To be changed.
We have an agenda on updates required for the new trustee team. So maybe we'll talk about that when we get there. Yeah. Thank you. Okay.
So do you want me to share the agenda?
Amanda, can you just let me know, am I still sharing my screen?
No, you're not sharing anymore.
Okay, good. That's good. Okay, so I think next on the agenda is House Grants, the second cycle, an update. And I see, Renato, we have you. Great to have you.
Hello, just in time.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. How are you? Nice to see you all.
Likewise.
Great. So should we just start?
Would you like to give us an update? That would be great.
Yes, of course.
Great in.
Okay, here's a very brief presentation regarding the first cycle. Well, by the way, and first of all, I hope Amanda and everyone there in Colombia is doing better than last week. So my good vibes, positive energy, and all the prayers for you guys. I'm so sorry for everything that's happened. Well, this is a short presentation I assembled so you can see all the information so far regarding the second cycle of the grants for Subud houses. I have good news. We've had 3 applications that are eligible. So they've moved to the second stage of the process. At this stage, in previous experiences, I'm not sure I'm allowed to share the names of the groups. So I'm just gonna leave it like project 1, 2, and 3. And of course, we have one exceptional situation that is related to the earthquake in Colombia. And I would recommend the board to treat that case in a separate way, not to mix with the second cycle. The reason I put it here is because it's related, of course, to a capital improvement. In sometime next week or during August, we're gonna have that application coming in. But I would recommend to treat it with maybe for discussion as a separate topic. So I'm going to focus this presentation on the 3 projects we had so far and have proceeded to the second stage. These 3 cases, there are all capital improvements type of projects. They varied from replacing the electric system. There's a project that has the exterior wooden structure of the house, so they would like to weatherproof it. Then we have a project that needs to renovate a very, very old elevator. So the total cost of the project are there, 40,000 for the first one, 30,000 the total cost, and the elevator project is more expensive. Then you have the requested amount, and here's I would like to do a double click. The 3 projects are very aware that moving to the second stage does not mean they have secure the total amount requested if awarded. The 3 projects has been asked if in the scenario that they would receive a grant from MSF that is a lower amount than requested, would it be possible still to move on with the project? The 3 cases have answered yes, we would increase the fundraising and the other sources of funding. So if MSF, in the scenario that approves the grant in a lower amount, it's okay for us, but it's going to depend, of course, which amount we're talking about. So what we've done in past experiences is that we just continue with the project with the stage 2 as information assessment, and I will present the 3 projects to you during October, maybe early October. So here are the way that the details I have assembled so far, and here's the strategy that each group has regarding the fundraising part that is not going to be financed with the MSF grant. In the first case, they will go with a regional house fund. The second one, they have a lot of savings because they using the premises with a business rental enterprise. And the third project, they are aware of the cost, and they've been successful in the past with significant and large amounts of dollars of a project in the last 10 years. So they're going to be focused on fundraising with the local members and within the region. So these are the projects, and the 3 of them have been during the entire 2-month stage 1 process in close conversations with me. So they've gathered all the information, they are well prepared. So I'm very confident that they're going to be eligible for a stage, for a grant from MSF. So I will just jump to the timeline. So my druthers would be that during August, of course, we have until the end of September to collect the information from the applicants. So during the first 2 weeks of October, we should have the board meeting. It's going to depend, Amanda, of the availability, of course, of the trustees. I don't have any problem of doing the second half of October, but I would suggest to have it maybe the second week of October, so you can guys discuss which date is best for you and it suits for you. So that's the information I wanted to share with you regarding the 3 cases of the second cycle. I don't know if you have any questions. Please go ahead, Marcus.
Yeah, I have one, Renato. Can you remind us how much of our annual budget is left from the first cycle?
Yes, $36,900 out of the $60,000 total budget for 2026.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Marzuki, yes, please.
Yeah.
As I am new, how is the procedure if the 3 are eligible and so on? Do we ask the helpers to test some specific amounts to each group, or what has been the procedure in the past, or what would it be in this case, as the funds are not enough for what they are requesting?
Well, thank you, Marzuki, for the questions. Well, to be very, very sincere, in the past, I've been here in the MSF role of grant coordinator during 8 years, I believe, 9 years, and in one case, in these 10 years, in these 9 years, we've tested because it was very, very difficult to have a resolution. But the regular process is just to I gather the information. I recommend each project. I recommend the resolution for each project, and the board votes. Maybe they want to explore some more. Maybe they would like to meet with the applicants. Maybe they would like to ask for feedback from the international helpers, from the some representatives. But it's not a tool that we've used as an average case scenario. It's just for very, very specific cases that we've tested with international helpers. I don't know if Marcus or any trustee would like to complement my answer.
Yeah, and I see Hamid has his hand up, but I mean, I've not been around as long as 8 or 9 years, but in the almost 4.5, 5 years I have been around. We haven't ever tested on this. I guess we see it as an outer matter, but we do go into it in some detail. As Renato says, we talk to international helpers, zone reps, national committee if necessary. We talk to the groups that often that's Renato. Sometimes it's Renato and trustees as well. We give Renato several questions often to ask, and in some cases we go back and we ask, if we're only able to give a smaller amount, what impact does it have on your project? And through that process, generally, I've found that we come to a position that works, and we very, very rarely. I can't remember really a case where we've significantly underfunded a really worthy project. So far it seems to be working. Yeah. Hamid?
Yes. Thank you, Mark. Two very quick things. First, Marzuki, in the last 2 years, we have accommodated practically 100% of the grants requests that we consider good requests. Okay? Having said that, Marcus, we are now with 2.5% of income available for grants, archives, and international helpers traveling. just impacting this income of 2.5% on the W1M. This gives us 187,000. And if we divide by 2, as we have been doing for grants, this will be 93,750. So I'm not clear about the relationship of the 60,000 that we have been carrying in the last couple of years, if this still applies to the current year.
So I answer that, Hamid, because that's correct, but the 2.5% isn't just for house grants, it's also for the WSA grants for help with travel.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So half of that will be for house grants, but half of that is $93,000, not 60. So how shall we go about it?
Well, I think we would refer to our budget. I can pull up the budget. Because of course what we're doing is when we budget for this year, we're budgeting based on the portfolio at the start of the year. So it's not the current balance, right? So obviously it's grown since the start of the year. Maybe I can share my screen quickly. So let's see. Can everyone see?
It's coming.
Yes.
We can see.
I have to work out unshare again, but anyway. Okay, so this is the budget. These were the balances, or these were actually the assumed balances at the end of the year, because we do our budget before the end of the year. But at that stage, we had roughly $1 million less than we currently do. And then we basically have the income assumed for each, and there's sort of an allocation from each fund to admin, which we need to take out. And then, as Hamid says, there's roughly 2.5% left for the various grants, of which so I think maybe the answer is, so we have just over 60,000 for WSA. Just looking at this. That's right, of course, because we also have the individual endowment funds and their particular programs. So there's, as well as the WSA grants and the house grants, we have, for instance, the Farkas Fund has allocations for the education or the youth and child and youth programs, etc. So those also need to come out of that total 2.5%, Hamid.
Yeah.
So that in total comes to 155,000, this number over here, if you can see my mouse.
Okay.
That's why it's not just the WSA and the house grants. Having said that, I think because the fund has grown, when we look at 2027 budget, if Marzuki agrees, we should be in a position to actually increase the grants that are available to houses and to WSA potentially.
Yeah, to me, it looks as if we can reach 75,000 actually.
Yeah, could well do potentially. So, okay. Am I unshared now or still sharing?
Still sharing.
Hard to see. I'm still sharing. How do I unshare? It's still, I have an option to share, but no unshare. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Amanda.
Just like in real life, it's hard to unshare what you've shared.
Exactly. Any other questions to Renata? Thank you, Renata. That was great to hear. And I guess in October, obviously, we'll then probably go into a closed session. We'll hear the exact groups and all the background. Will we have a chance before then to ask any questions on? Is that the time we get to ask questions then, or is there a time before then?
Oh yeah. Usually before that board of trustee meeting, I send the information 1 week before that day, so you can have I can have your feedback in case you want to set up a meeting with the applicants. It's okay. So yeah. You will have at least hopefully it's going to depend on when I get the final application information from the applicants. If it's on the deadline, I can work. The good thing regarding the volume of just 3 is very easy to access information, and the reason is that we've been working together for 2 months with these applicants. So there's always room for you guys to explore some more, because it's a very fruitful feedback that you guys have, especially with the new trustees, especially with the experience you have. So it's always welcome to receive your questions. I don't know if I'm sorry, Rivka.
Oh, well, I do see that 2 of them have the possibility of some regional house funds. And I know for project 3, that is a definite possibility. So if we could find out the probability of getting some regional funds, that might reduce the amounts that they need to ask from MSF.
Okay.
Great. And Renata, did you want to talk about the Subud Kali exceptional situation as well now?
I just wanted to show you just the big picture, because probably you all know that Colombia has a lot of properties. So here you go. So what I did was to coordinate a meeting with Salahia. Salahia is working on a how do I say this? It's not an organization, but she's come together with a group of experts, Subud members, so they can help the Subud National Committee, not only because of the earthquake situation, but before that, we've talked a month ago. So she and this group of Subud experts regarding business, construction, fields, they're trying to have evaluations and tracking of all the properties of Subud Colombia. So in that context, I've contacted her, of course, after the earthquake. And she, with these members, did a report of all the premises, of all the properties in Subud Colombia. Being the coffee area of Colombia, with the most impact from the earthquake, and specifically the Gran Salon, which is currently managed by the Simón Garán Foundation. So that property is through that channel. And the other one is the Grupo Subud Amanecer Group. They own the Salón Quindío, the Quindío Hall. So that physical space has been very, very deteriorated by the earthquake. So probably, as I said, during August, they're trying to get quotes, an estimation of the amounts they're gonna need. So that's the information I have. 2 things in summary. I'm in close contact with the National Committee and this group of experts that is helping out this National Committee. And second, they're just starting to get some numbers. So it's very early today to have a clear picture how much funds they're going to need. And thirdly, if needed, they're going to come back to us and say, okay, we need this, is the total cost of the project. We're going to fundraise this part. Maybe we can ask MSF for this part. Once I have that situation in detail, I'm going to provide it to you. My recommendation would be to keep it separate for the second cycle. Rosario, please.
Yeah, thank you. A clarification. The Quindío house with the people in Amanecer do Latihan belongs to Subud, Colombia.
Yes,
not to Subud Amanecer. It's always very confusing because there are 5 different names involved in this place. And the architects, there are 5 architects and 1 civil engineer in this group that have been identified to evaluate all the properties. Then the Subud Quindío, meaning the Quindío Salon is the salon in Amanecer where the members do Latihan at this time. The Grand Salon belongs to the Grand Hermes and is not used for Latihan for a couple years.
Thank you, Rosario.
But it's used sometimes for other events.
Yeah, that's right. Well, yes, the Subud Amanecer and most of well, all of them, right, Rosario? All the Colombian groups that own properties are owned legally by the National Committee.
That's correct.
Yeah.
No, all, except 1 or 2.
Okay, good to know.
Except Bucaramanga.
Okay, thank you.
Has a different
No, Marzuki is not Subud Bucaramanga decided 2 years ago to do it. The only exception is Subud Cucuta.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know.
Yeah, Subud Cucuta, because Subud Cucuta, the members feel that most of the members has put the money and they feel that they want to still be independent. Cucuta is the Subud group close to Venezuela. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for the clarification. So, do we know at this stage, Renato, if any of the groups, or particularly, I guess, Subud, the Quindío Hall, were insured, or in fact the Grand Salon? Do we know if there's insurance covering any of the damage?
Well, I don't know. I'm going to have a meeting with Salahia. See, the context there, because not the Subud properties are the only impacted with the earthquake. Of course, the families of these Subud members, the family of Salahia, have been, of course, affected. So I don't want to push it too hard. So I'm trying to just, if she wants to come back to me and give me the information, it's okay. Thank you. So as I get the information, I'm gonna just send it to you guys so you are well informed. But I thought it was a very good opportunity for you guys to know that I'm in close contact with them. But I don't have any more details. I could translate the report she sent me this week and send it to you guys if you want.
Oh, that would be interesting, even if it's an AI translation to save you time. Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, of course. Yes, of course. Okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, I guess I suppose when we do get a request, we may want to act quickly, make a decision quickly. So just wondering whether there's anything, we probably don't want to go into lengthy discussions until we hear more, but I agree that this should be treated as a separate timeline, at least, to the second cycle, if we need to act quickly. How do the trustees feel about it needing to come out of the current budget, though? Is this something that would be a separate thing, a sort of emergency allocation, or do we see this coming out of the housing budget if there's a request? Asad, did you have any comments on that, or Asad, did you want to comment on that?
Sí, quisiera aprovechar la presencia de Renato para la programación que tenemos con cada una de las zonas. Yo quisiera saber qué tiempo requeriría Renato cuando nos reunamos en las zonas para explicarle el tema de las subvenciones. Entonces quisiera saber qué tiempo requieres, Renato, para eso. Sí, para explicar el tema de las subvenciones en las zonas que tenemos una programación con los enlaces. Pero no estoy escuchando nada.
¿Quieren que traduzca al inglés?
Arzuki, creo que está Sharon traduciendo.
Ok.
Hay un problema tal vez con la...
Marzo, tienes que usar el canal de interpretación inglés para escuchar la traducción de China.
Ah, sí, yo también estoy fuera de ese. Vamos a ver. Ajá. Ajá. Ok. Yeah.
Renato, we can't hear you. You're on mute.
I'm sorry. Alsat, very quickly, it's just a parenthesis. This is another topic. Then come back to Marcus'
Yes.
comments because it's important what he said. Just very short, I'm available. Whenever you want me, I can do the presentation I did for the last event we had in Indonesia. So yeah, just send me the dates and I can send you my availabilities. But feel free and come in. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Thank you, Renato.
Okay, thank you, Renato.
Any thoughts on the budget, a potential budget for a request from Suburb Colombia?
This Rosario, I think I would like to see how much is the damage. And then we can maybe decide if we need to look the budget or not.
Okay.
Marcus?
Yes. Yes, Hamid.
It will be good if we could still frame it within the budget. And if necessary to go beyond the budget, we could certainly use the partnership scheme with Subud Enterprises to accommodate extra funding.
Yeah. Yeah. That's my feeling too. Okay. So maybe we don't need to jump into a lot of extra discussion now. We'll wait to hear from Suburb Colombia and then we'll take it from there. But I think there's certainly an appetite to support them. We can say that up. So please pass that on, Renata, and pass on our support and prayers. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, will do. Well,
Masuki, yes.
Masuki.
Just to end on a positive note, they're putting the tiles up on the Salón Quindío. The part of the roof that fell is in an outer ledge, so they hope to be able to cover the main hall with those tiles. And this weekend, the engineers are going to assess if they can begin to do Latigan again in that wall. And also the Gran Hermes, the large wall, suffered damage mostly in an outer ledge, and the central part will probably be able to be fixed relatively soon. So I'm hopeful that this will be the case.
Okay. That's positive. Thank you, Masuki.
Thank you, Masuki.
Okay.
Thank you, Renato.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you very
guys.
much, Renato.
Yes, thank
Well,
you. Very complete.
Great to see you.
You too.
Bye. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Gracias.
Okay, so think we're still okay to go a few more minutes, Sharon. We've got probably a fairly meaty subject. I'm thinking on the Education Support Fund next. Maybe we can have a quick break after that if we need it. So, Education Support Fund. Rivka, can I maybe ask you to give us a bit of a summary of where things are at? Or
Yes, and thank you for entrusting me to be the MSF liaison. As you know, Lucian and I go way back, and we started working on this scholarship actually 2 years before it appeared for MSF. On August 12th, I sent you the report from Virginia Thomas. But I'll just go quickly through it. I don't think it's actually this meaty or this difficult. Basically, I think we realized early on that we as a board did not have the capacity to manage individual scholarship requests, and that indeed proved true. There was 126 scholarships requests that were submitted from many countries. So it was actually a very good decision to partner with SDIA to do this. And just to review, 128 applications, 13 from Colombia, 2 from Cuba, 6 from Democratic Republic of Congo, 3 from Mexico, and 104 from Indonesia. And I think that's due to the very solid SD Indonesia network that they have there that receives information and really sends it out. Both Lucian and I were quite surprised that even though it was publicized in the US, it was not, there weren't any applications. But this could be because what was decided by the review committee is that for the early education level, it would be $150 US dollars. For primary and secondary, $200 US, and for the university level, the Padilla scholarship, that's $400 US. And frankly, in US dollars in US education, that really buys a book or something. We're quite overpriced. So you saw the Google Docs. I don't know if you opened it up. All I can say is that there was an abundance of due diligence that was done by SDIA. Every application was reviewed carefully by area teams, right? Not by the whole team, but by area teams. In many cases, the SD nationals were contacted to make sure about even the request for an umbrella and boots for $150 US. I think we can be very happy about their handling of this. I would say if there was any feedback that I gave to Virginia is please contact your MSF liaison during the process, not just at the beginning and the very end. I felt that I really, after the first bit, I didn't quite know what was going on, but at the end, I could see what was going on. So they have a total of $4,472 of US dollars of admin costs. Communications, website, convening the review committee, processing, banking fees associated with the transfers, and some extra money they paid to the SD national committees or SDs for contacting. That was just $332. Don't worry, that wasn't a lot. So Lucian has reviewed this all. He's approved all of the applications. He also has a strong recommendation, and this is where the board will have to decide. Lucian Partial, the donor, has a strong recommendation that we don't go with the very detailed administration agreement that Elena worked on that SDIA never signed, but they're willing to sign. They've seen it. And he would like them to just invoice us for the scholarships and then the administration costs. So that's something that we need to decide. It is a donor request, so I pose it to you like that. There is the request, though, that we decide on the distribution as soon as possible so these scholarships can be sent out. because of the amount that they gave, there won't be a second round of scholarships. They'll publicize that will not happen this year. It could happen next year, but most likely there'll just be one round of scholarships. So kind of the ball's in our court, whether we have them invoice us for the admin costs and the total scholarship costs. They're going to handle the administration of sending them. That's that. Oh, any questions? Sorry, I went rather quickly through it.
Can I maybe just before we open up for questions, can I just share my understanding of a couple of those points as well? And based on Elina's email on the 20th of July. So my understanding is, well, the budget that was allocated for this. So as we manage every fund, we allocate from a 10-year projection and the return, just as we went through earlier. The budget for the education fund for this year was just under $10,000. Somewhere along the lines, and I'm not really very clear, there seems to have been a budget agreed with Susila Dharma. I'm not sure by whom.
By Lucian. Yeah.
25,000, and somehow we've got a bit of a.
So now we're at 40,000, almost 40,000.
Yeah, 35 to 40,000. So, I think that's one thing we need to work through. So that's one thing. I think the second thing you mentioned already, which is the agreement, which possibly we may have a different view. I don't know to his view on. And then I guess associated with both of those is that we've now got over 100 people waiting for a response on funds. So it feels a bit messy.
I would agree with that, because it was done again. I got at the very beginning, I was communicated with as the MSF liaison, not meaning me, but MSF. And then at the very end, and all of this adjustment happened without knowledge. Now, Lucian's way of thinking about this is if the principal was 600,000 and the gain was 9.638,772, that he felt that there was the amount available. I myself would recommend having an MOU, maybe not so detailed, but at least an MOU with SDIA, that if there's any changes during the scholarship season or whatever we call it, the scholarship round, that it has to be approved by MSF. But we did not have that agreement with them. I agree, messy. I will agree. They did it. They did a good job, but it was rather a shock to go up to 40,000 total, or well, 39, whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So those are the issues I think we need to talk through. Rosario, you have your hand up.
Yes, I have received several calls about this wonderful program. One of the reasons is because I have not seen the questionnaire or the form myself, but in there it says that the person could apply up to until $1,000. I was surprised that the amount was that high, because then what happened, of course, the people who need it applied for $1,000. And also, after all this happened, they contact Susila Dharma to see when they could announce to the applicants that the money, that when they will receive the money. And they never heard. There was no communication between the Susila Dharma, I will say in this case, Colombia, and the Susila Dharma International. I guess that they were too busy, too many applicants, and so forth. Then actually, the people who applied didn't know exactly if it was one time, if it was how often, and if it was how much they could apply for.
And I would agree with all those points, Rosario. I think that it could really be tightened up.
Yeah,
because they
like
reduced it to a very small amount, which
yes,
I think is almost meaningless to some people. Yeah.
Yeah, then more communication, and at the same time, less wording in the form, more to the point, how much you can request, and how often it will be given if it's only one time live. And because people sometimes who have to do these applications, maybe it's the first time that they do it, and they were very confused, and they're still waiting to see when they will get the money. And the new year, the year already start, and that is for me. Thank you, Ritka. I finish.
Mute. So I have a doc open, and I'm writing down all these questions, so that I really think that we should have a little session with Virginia, actually, just a post-mortem, the way you tend to do with the first year of something. That would be a really good idea. And then to work on with her an acceptable MOU, so we can get that done. But thank you. Yeah.
Rivka, can I ask? My feeling is, I feel that it would be good to have a session with Lucien actually first, because I went back to the Education Support Fund agreement, and there is dividends are distributed semi-annually. In line with the standard investment strategies and policies. We know that the fund is being managed separately by Lucien. There's an admin fee. I went through all the terms, right? And there's nothing in there really that would. I don't think there's anything that really would allow us, unless we kind of clarify that there's maybe some ambiguity, but generally I would see that agreement as very similar to our other endowments, where we are constrained to preserve its capital and to only spend the budget allocated it this year.
Yeah.
So I'm struggling actually with this situation where Lucien and Cecilia Dama have kind of gone off and now come to a point where they're proposing spending over $35,000, where I'm around $10,000. And I feel that we, as I pointed out earlier, there has been a huge extra donation, very generous donation from Lucien to the fund. And maybe that shifts things, but the current way the documentation sits doesn't really support us extending a grant for what they're proposing for 35,000. So I feel we need to go back to Lucien, ask him whether he's prepared to spend just 10,000 this year and allocate some of those funds next year, or whether we need to actually redo some of the documentation to better represent his true wishes.
Yeah.
Of those, and then only after that, I think we then sit down with Cecilia Dama and say, how do we actually put this into a format that we're all happy with, and their budget is each year that we can approve and what we can't approve, and then hopefully we have a proper modus operandi going forward.
Yeah, and here's the problem: is in Indonesia the school has started already, and so I have to say, if we could arrange it if you could call Lucien this weekend and try to work it out or something, because as he put it in his email, he's kind of irked at this point with, the slowness of this. I think he feels he was a rather independent contractor or whatever with this thing. I think your issues are absolutely correct. But it's between us and Lucien at this point, knowing that the donor really wishes the funds to be distributed as soon as possible. And by his calculations, he put in the extra money, and just to make sure that there was the gain of the 38,772. So I don't know.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And that ultimately we need to follow the donor's wishes, as long as they're compliant with our responsibilities.
Yes. Yeah. We're in a rock and a hard place right now, Marcus and team. So the money has to go out. He's approved it. Like I said, it was kind of a surprise because I didn't hear about it going up like this. And as Rosario said, I thought it was $1,000, especially at the university level, and it wasn't. So we have some issues with SDIA. We couldn't have done it. They did it. But I guess you do need to get this settled with Lucian as soon as possible, at least for this first round. And maybe there's a more stringent set for the next round next year.
Okay. Did I see anyone else? Hamid, did you have your hand up a moment ago or not?
Yes.
Hamid.
Yeah. Marcus, I quite agree with the need to speak with Lucian. We have fiduciary duties, and we cannot really evade our responsibility from these duties. Therefore, maybe Lucian will separate a part of his recent funding as a direct contribution for the promise or for the grants that he would like to see allocated, so that we keep up with the management of those funds and the distribution of the income in accordance with our policies. And we have really to come to an agreement with him in relation to these, because if he wants to give some donation, extra donation, to complement the distribution that MSF is allowed to do, that's okay. But not create a messy situation where basically we are eating up the capital and we are not really fulfilling our responsibilities. And we could be, in very gray area according to the state laws and the federal laws, okay?
Agree.
I agree too. Yeah. So I guess what I was thinking, Rivka, was to try and call a separate meeting of the trustees with Lucian, but that may not be feasible within. You're saying that the timeline is very, very pressing.
It is very, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Volunteers to join me. I prefer that I'm happy to have a call directly with Lucian, but maybe it would be good, Rivka, if you're available, particularly because you've been directly involved, and anyone else who would like to, maybe we can try and set up a meeting tomorrow.
How about the financial committee, Marcus?
Yeah, if everyone can make that.
Hamid, Arsad.
Yeah, that I'm actually Zooming the Armani Archives meeting tomorrow and Sunday. So if the financial committee could do it, I think that would be good.
You don't feel that it's important for you to be in that call as well, Rivka? Could we fit around?
Well, it would be, but I'm at the archives. There's an archives meeting, subcommittee meeting.
And there's no time that would work for you that we could fit around you?
Send me the time that you all can do it, and then we'll see.
Okay.
I think these are some very tough questions that I don't need to weigh in at, actually. It has to do with what was, let him explain to you. He seemed to feel very good about how he explained it to me. So I think actually a whole set of ears would be good, and somebody who could kind of say, but wait, this is what you agreed on. You agreed on the 1,000, you agreed on this, and, how are we going to, make sure that the money can go forward? And especially setting the tone for next year. How are we going to do it? So it isn't, kind of, you doing something private with SDIA that MSF doesn't know about. So I don't know that I have to. I'm not trying to weasel out, but
yeah, no, fine. If you don't feel it, that's fine. So
I don't think it's necessary, or I would try to get out of the archives meeting. But
I imagine you have back-to-back meetings. So, okay, so
Yeah.
we'll try and find a meeting that works for Asad, Hamid, Mazuki, myself, and Lucian.
Yeah.
Mazuki, we might need to rely on your translation skills in that meeting, I think. Would you be open to that if Asad is joining as well?
Yes, naturally. And I was planning to attend the WSA meeting tomorrow, translating. So if it's not in that time,
Oh, that's what I have on the 15th. Yes, I have both those things. Archive at 6:30 a.m. and yes, this 6:30 and 2. So nothing from 6:30 to 5 for me.
Yeah, but Rivka, the
I knew
WSC
there was
meeting,
something tomorrow, Marzuki. Something. Yep, something.
Rivka,
Mm-hmm.
the WSC meeting is at 5 p.m. Eastern Time
2 p.m. me.
on Sunday.
Yeah.
On Sunday.
No, the council meeting
Saturday. Yeah.
is Saturday.
Because it's my Sunday morning.
Yeah, your Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's fine. I'll try and find a time. I'll send out some options
Saturday.
and hopefully we can, and hopefully Lucian will be available as well.
Yeah.
But I think that's the first step, and then possibly then we can invite Virginia to our next board meeting to discuss the arrangement between MSF and Cecilia Dam.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, is there anything else we would like to talk on that now before talking with Lucian? Any other comments or questions? Oh, okay. How are we going, Shireen, how are you going for translation? I think we were set to break around now. We're a bit behind, but happy to have the break now if that is best. Yep. We'll have a break now for 10 minutes. So if we come back at 25 past, whatever hour it is for you, we'll talk again then. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.